Hello and welcome to Goa 365 Story Behind the Story. Now, a lot of political developments have been happening in the state and a lot of issues, roads, crime has been hitting the headlines on a regular basis. However, one issue that was in the headlines but today probably, I don't know, probably it's gone a little bit on the second and third pages or in the, is the illegal construction that had happened at Old Goa in the buffer zone. So today, to shed some light on what exactly is the situation on that issue, we have a panel with us who's been involved in this agitation right from the beginning. I would like to introduce, they have been on our show before on this particular topic, but I would like to introduce them again. Anthony De Silva, he's quite a known activist, very vocal, very erudite, very combative for many years. Tahir Norana, he's the professional, he's an architect. And Glenn Cabral, who's from Old Goa, he's a local, he's the one who dug this out from wherever, whichever, the covering it was in. Glenn, Tahir, Anthony, welcome to our show. Now Anthony, I would like to start with you. What is the situation? What is the status of that thing which hit the national headlines for so long, but now I think with Shinde and everything else is gone behind. What is it? What is the status as of now? What's happened?
First of all, thank you for bringing us over here. The thing is that right now, the status is such that we have not yet got anything much positive, although we are still fighting about it. The courts are going slow a little bit. We are getting many adjournments, which is not very healthy. But we have faith in the courts, that the courts will do the best, and this structure will one day be brought to ground zero.
But why courts? What about the administration?
Yeah, administration had made promises, but today the administration has got one, you can say, excuse saying that it is a sub judice matter. So the administration always want to clean their hands, saying that it is not within our reach now. So I have already put it forward to the authorities that there are always two roads for everything, A and B. One A is the go for amicable demolition of the structure, because everything has been already brought in clear crystal white. Otherwise, get the matter expedited as quick as possible. Put it on the fast track, no?
So basically you are saying from the administration side it's a status quo, from the courts it's sub judice, let's leave it at that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tahir, tell me one thing. Now, this, I liked Anthony's word, amicable demolition. Speaking on that, and can you go on a technical issue, how this thing can be expedited through the court? See, courts are courts, its adjournments will be there, then you hear this side, that side. But technically, can this be done without, following all this legal?
So I mean, Anthony's words are right on the point, amicable demolition, because right now, the facts on the ground are so blatantly clear that this structure is illegal, that there is only delays which can help the person who has done this illegality. And the state government can really get it expedited even through the court. The first time when this case came before the High Court of Goa, not one state department filed an affidavit. Yeah, and that itself took so much of time being wasted of the court. It had to be heard without the consensus of the state government. Right now, before the director of panchayats, when it has been stayed and it is so-called sub judice, the village panchayat of Old Goa has filed an affidavit, as have the group of citizens. But the state government departments, who are also very much involved in revoking certain permissions after having granted them, I mean, if they put in an affidavit, then everyone is saying the same language. This structure is illegal. This structure has to go. So the state can be proactive even if a matter is sub judice.
But everything is illegal, but it's still there.
It's still there because of a major breakdown, I would say, in administration, and a kind of a tactic that we are seeing more and more as this issue has aggravated, especially in the end of last year. The number of citizens who came to me, citizens from Majorda, citizens from Nerul, from Baga, and they all brought documents, and they all brought documents of the same type of fraud, where people buy plots where there existed some sort of a home or a lodja, or a traditional structure just for storing things, and they showed photos of palatial constructions somewhere else in Goa, in some cases from Kerala also. You can easily make out by the kind of roofing that this is a Kerala roof, it's a Kerala building. But for some reason or the other, state government authorities and state government departments have accepted these as the photos of the structure that is on ground and granted permission to repair these non-existent structures. And so this to me is a systematic problem in Goa. And Old Goa is the most obvious one, and Old Goa is going in the right track, and if it's demolished, it will be a huge boon for all of the people of Goa and for the state of Goa's own development in the future.
Okay, I'd like to bring Glenn into this. Now, Glenn, how did you all come to know about this initially? Because the structure is ready, so it should have, it taken some time, at least a year.
No, before hitting the street, we tried to, as Tahir said, we went to court. So there we didn't get any relaxation. So then the alternate was to come on the street, make a people of Goa aware of what is the thing, because everyone thought that is illegal building because he had all the required permissions. So our main issue was that how you can get a permission where you cannot have a permission at all. So when we tried to
have a permission at all means,
because it is a protected area where you cannot have a permission to build a house or anything. So in that protected area they managed to get a permission. So that was the biggest fraud.
Okay. So it's a heritage.
Yeah, it is a protected red zone. So you cannot have. After that, there are buffer zones.
Okay.
100 meters to 100, 200 and 300. So they had constructed in the buffer in the protected area itself. So there are ruins of Largos and Agitation is there. Then Adil Shah Palace is there, and Custom House was there. So they had constructed on the ruins. As per the act, actually the person who had constructed should be jailed. Because as per there is a 1 lakh fine is there, 2 lakh fine something, and 1 year imprisonment is there if whoever violates the law. But this person was given a permission, legal permission to construct in that protected area, and the construction started just before pandemic. You are aware that pandemic had hit last year, just on the peak of pandemic. 2021 it was.
They started building in
January they started.
Okay.
January they started clearing the trees
site,
and all.
yeah.
And the first plinth was I think so in March or April. So in March April it was lockdown no issue. After that they went in ahead with the work. When we had a first protest on the site, it was somewhere in June or something, July.
So it was soon, like.
Yeah, it was soon. That time the structure was a ground plus 1 structure. It was not slab also not put. After that we had second protest, third protest. That time the structure was almost ready. So after making aware also, after we were doing many agitations also, giving memorandum to the government department also, he went ahead with the work. Because there was no revocation or no withdrawal of the license from the government authority. When we started the first hunger strike, that time the government acted. That time was the first time the government acted and they started withdrawing the fraud permission which was given to the structure.
It is actually an open and shut case because there are 3 protected monuments there, and that protected area is overlapping over each other. These people, they just blindfolded they gave. These people should be arrested.
People mean the bureaucrats.
The bureaucrats, those who have given this permission, they has to be arrested and set an example in the future if the Goa has to be protected in the future. Otherwise this Goa is going to be sold to the dogs like this.
I don't know if they will have money to buy the dogs, but still.
I'll put it very clearly. In 1968, the central government released a notification. For 6 months they proposed that certain survey numbers of village Old Goa and of course village Kandoli for Fort Aguada would be kept as protected area. Beyond this protected area there was to be a buffer zone. That buffer zone was in 68 not defined. No objections were received in the case of Old Goa by any of the owners for not including their survey numbers in that. The ASI people had also, church records say that the ASI had come and met them. They have the correspondence from the ASI saying that we are taking over your plots to protect them, and the church had agreed at that time. So I'm sure the same must have been done to all the private landowners in the area as well. From 1968 June onwards, there should have been no touching of anything in the protected area without taking direct permission from ASI New Delhi office. Because the law is very clear, it says that. Yet in this case, the builders of this project went and got permission to build from the GCZMA, the Coastal Zone Management Authority, from the Conservation Committee, from the Town and Country Planning Department, and How do these departments have the authority to give the permission? They do not.
Yes.
They do not. The permission, the law is clear. The permission has to come from Delhi. And then after getting permission from all of these state departments, they moved a fraudulent file before the ASI in Delhi. The ASI in Delhi sent back a very clearly written letter saying that you may repair the existing structure as shown to me by the ASI Goa representative. And the ASI Goa representative had already sent the ASI Delhi director the photo of the thatch little loggia on the side.
Actual original.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But this person continued to build as per the plans approved by TCP, which was a ground and 2-floor structure
It's ground plus two.
having
Ground
400 square meters
Area.
built up.
area as compared to a 50 square meter small temporary shack that was on the ground.
Now tell me, I want to know one thing. Now, you all have gone on agitation. I know a lot of, I think, when was this? Lot of politicians came to.
November, December.
November, 15th November it was.
Came,
Huge,
I mean, like
15
AAP
November.
came, a lot of these people came. So, have you all asked for? See, what happens is basically, I feel like, see, this is a complete illegal act. Now, I know Tahir has spoken about, if we Goans want to, increase the size of their houses or XYZ, these bureaucrats today will target these guys. What they will not do is the people who are coming from outside who are buying houses and this on the shacks on the beaches and building palaces, that nobody is going to see. This is what. Now my thing is, these bureaucrats, government servants, have you all asked for any action against them? Everybody blames politicians. Indeed, they are the bosses. But they have an exam every 5 years. So you don't like him, throw him out. Like many, 50% every time get thrown out.
Yeah, we are thrown out.
Have you, in your thing also, you even in your constituency it's happened. But have the bureaucrats ever been pulled up for this? And have you asked for it? It's a very, very specific question.
Now, somebody may say, I am looking at the same issue with two different lenses. Let me say one thing. We are mixing now residential complexes or residential people for whom the need is there. We are now focusing on the protected side. This is totally, I am talking about is
Agreed.
criminal.
Agreed. I'm not talking about that. But who is given the permission?
Bureaucrat.
The bureaucrat.
Bureaucrats.
I'm asking, have you
Yes.
asked for any this against these guys?
Yes.
Because what Tahir is saying is very specific. The ASI sent that group here.
Okay.
But the permission was given for something
The
else.
secret of that I'll tell you, Glenn.
Secret, okay.
The big secret, today I'll tell it.
Son.
Let that bungalow get demolished and we'll demolish all these people who have been given this permission
It
also.
doesn't work
It
like
will
that.
work out.
I'll get to. So we had given memorandum to the TCP minister, ex-minister. So we told them. So
That time was-
Babu told
Babu
him.
Kodekar.
So in our memorandum we mentioned the officer who was in the conservation committee. There was a technical person who should have given a correct advice, but they had not given them. They had not told that it is a protect area. So we had told them to take action or do an inquiry and find out who is the culprit. Similar, we had given to the other department also. Some department acted on our complaints.
See,
At
this is
least they
the,
had started the inquiry, internal inquiry, how it happened.
so these are the
So secondly,
people.
what happened? See, the state government was little bit lazy in this action, but the department who was protecting that heritage site, all the officers got transferred out of Old Goa or from ASI. I
From
think so.
ASI.
It is the first case in Goa, if you say, all the officer from from down to top, all the officer from Goa circle is transferred.
Yeah,
Just-
Tahir, now tell me one thing. I'm on all India basis. Okay, I'm
Correct.
an
Yeah.
all India cadre.
Yes.
I get a house.
Yeah.
I get X, my electricity is taken care of, water, these I can afford to have staff, I have got vehicles, I have this. Today I am in Goa, tomorrow I am in Delhi. What is the punishment?
Correct. But
There is
then
nothing.
No, because
I am specific, Glenn and Anthony. Sorry, I almost called you by the other name. Tahir. Specific. What action has been taken by this blatant product? See, it is very simple for these panchayats and TCP and deputy collectors to go and demolish somebody's house who's built a toilet, or if he's got a 100 square meter house, if he's increased it to 200 square meter because of he wants it. It is our land anyway, Goan land.
So Glenn,
wait, let me finish. I'm not done on this. This is like I'm on a flow, so as to say. Now, has anything been done? Have these guys been penalized? Have they been arrested?
No.
Because this is not only a protected site. This is, I don't know from whom. I'm not going to call any names to.
No.
This is not anybody of Goan origin. He doesn't come under that Pogo Bull. He doesn't come under anything. He's not even somebody who's got domicile 15 years. Nobody. These people are nobody. Forget about this. Have anybody been penalized for this? So this I want to know. Now tell me.
Nobody. At least I don't have even.
If you don't know, who will know? You all are the ones who are running.
We don't know even one person has been punished yet.
So nobody has been punished.
But I think
punishment was led by SI officers
Yes.
who are doing with the good work. They are transferred out of.
He has been punished.
They are being punished because they had raised the issue. So long back they was avoiding the permission. They had taken the actions on that. So they are now transferred.
So the good guys are
transferred out.
Wow, that's great.
That is a punishment for them because they have stood for the sincerity.
Brilliant.
And you have to vouch for the work that Glenn and the other citizens have done. They have figured out every person's name. They have written to a minister because they've also had the ethics to not want to name and shame anyone till now, at least. But I think at some point it may have to come to that. I'm not a political person, but
fair enough. So we cannot say that nobody knows who has done what.
Oh no! He knows. He's informed every minister.
We have informed the concerned department who are involved in it while giving the permission. Who was there? Who has to do the site inspection? Who was there? So they have to actually the concerned minister, concerned department has to do an internal inquiry and found out ground reality what happened at that time.
Why they have to do an inquiry? If you know the name, why think? See,
I don't know what I'm saying. How they managed to get a permission when the structure doesn't exist only.
Your sign should be liable.
Liable. That's what.
Okay, and come
So
on.
that's what I'm saying. See, we have names of everybody. Now,
Does the government have names of everybody?
Yes.
we have to submit it.
Does it?
We have submitted.
Submitted,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
We have
Submitted.
That's my point. I'm
We
trying
have
to get to that.
submitted. Now see, this is what I was telling you. Now we don't want to jump into two rings. We want this first structure to be demolished.
It will not be unless action is taken. See, how do you prove? Wait, Anthony, I am aware that you are in this for a long time, but today illegality is made up of two things. One is the issue. Second is the person who's cleared that illegality.
Correct.
If the person who's cleared the illegality is still working, is still everywhere, your thing is not legal. Your court case will take next 30 years. What then? What are you going to do?
So I think one.
See, you know, there is another thing also, adverse possession and all that, 12 years work, then tomorrow you're going to fight on that.
Yeah.
Then what?
No, it's true. So one thing that the state seems to be taking a proactive case on is they've constituted an SIT to look into fake sale deeds and all. So a few days ago, Glenn had called for an SIT to look into this case.
Yes.
Glenn, you want to elaborate?
Yeah, both of that also, you send one email, no? To exactly say
Yeah, so because see the fraud in how the land purchase is it is similar on that also.
Exactly, same thing, no?
So actually, I request the government to form a SIT on this issue also because how the permissions are given because it is not one case. There are so many cases in Goa regarding.
What I'm saying is, why another SIT? This same SIT. What are the parameters of the SIT are not there. Not yet done. Not formulated.
Okay.
So the SIT has to be for fraudulent case. Now, if you cannot sell land according to the 1968 law, you cannot sell land which is in protected. So
No,
this
you
comes
can
under the SIT.
no, you can say you can sell it. You cannot
You
bid.
can't
So
bid. So
you can sell the property.
Yeah. So
we have
this-
no issue of
Selling the property.
Somebody who bought the property. The issue is the one who is constructing the structure. And this SIT which they have tried to put it in place, it also mentioned about the structures.
Okay,
So
that's
they
what-
should take the SIT.
Parameters are not yet given. Not yet given. And so now you are saying, Tahir, you said GCZMA, conservation, X, Y, Z, many guys. These are all NOCs. Somebody see you know how the government works. The paper can't be there after its signature. So who has signed
And
the same?
everybody in the hierarchy would have at least signed the
Notings are there.
yeah.
Notings are
Notings are there. What is so tough about it? So if this is not cleared, Anthony, it's not illegal. It is still innocent up till proven guilty. That's the way the courts work in Goa, India. So as of now, you can't say it's illegal.
But we have documents saying
You
that.
have documents, but you're in court. Up till the judge says it is illegal, it is still not illegal. Why? I'll tell you. Because the government has still not taken action against the people who you say have done illegalities.
They have
So
not.
I'm talking about it is not guilty and up till proven innocent. It is innocent until proven guilty. That is the law. That is why all politicians, when they are caught, what is they say? Let the law take its course.
So let's go on, but to what little positives and victories we have
Okay,
got.
now what I'm saying, wait, I would like to bring Tahir. Tahir, what is the way forward? Now I know I've just put this mirror. What is the way forward, Tahir?
Yeah. So basically, one, we had three demands right from the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. First was to demolish the illegal structure. That doesn't seem to have happened yet. We hope it happens soon. Second demand of ours was to take action against everybody involved in this process. And the third action was to prevent this process from happening in the future.
Yes.
We do what's called a demarcation of the protected areas in all of the regional plans and the ODPs for Goa. And this would not only apply to Old Goa, this applies to 54 state monuments across the state of Goa, 21 ESI monuments across the state of Goa, and several other zones which are not clearly marked, like CRZ zone in Vasco, the airport landing zone for the airplane. All of these things are missing in our plans. And one good thing at least is that the Minister for Town Planning has now directed the planners to do it. And we have gone one step further. I've got a Xerox of it. I've done the homework and I've submitted it to the Town Planning Department.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, they have no excuse now. They can check my work. I mean, of course, they'll want to do it through their own department, but everything's been handed over to them. So what should stop them from doing the demarcation in 2-3 days? I don't know. But everything's been given to them. They know, we all know. We've been working on two sides. Anthony's been fighting through the people. Glenn's been fighting through the court. I've been trying to speak to other professionals in the departments and win over them. And we can, I mean, that's the only way, is that this has to be tackled from all sides. Because once a demarcation is done, it's very clear. No conservation committee can then say, "Arey, this is in the buffer zone," or "This is just beyond the buffer zone," because the plot will be marked in the map, and in the map you'll see that, oh, this is the red zone. It's the protected area. Means that I have to follow the rules as prescribed. Means that I have to send my file to Delhi first.
The
This is my
positivity.
point. This is exactly what I'm saying. This has to be done, and this is where only the government's administration can push through.
Yeah.
And
See, Glenn, this is what the victory which we are talking about. Many a time people may think, what is this agitation going to benefit? We are not only looking at only that one structure. We are looking at the cleanliness of whole Goa. See, if through this,
commendable,
if something more can come in on the way, it will be wonderful. And the first thing is, we have got some assurances that they are going to go for a demarcation. That's our first victory going to come very shortly.
you have spoken to whom? Like, who else you spoken to? Like, so that to pull this up.
So I've spoken to Chief Planner Rajesh Naik, also made a representation before the Conservation Committee. We've also, before when Babu Kavlikar was, we made a presentation before that Conservation Committee as well. So response has been positive, but there's been no action. Now recently Vishwajit Rane, who I've at least not met, but he has directed through the Town Planning Board to do this demarcation exercise.
In fact, I personally met even the TCP, Rajesh, and things seems to be they are going to take up this issue immediately, maybe in a short time. But another positivity is that we need to look at it is that in Old Goa itself, I am talking about, forget about, right now I am not looking at the whole of Goa.
Okay.
In Old Goa itself, this protest has kept a lot of cockroaches away. There are a lot of more shopping
pending for
centers and
schools.
complexes were to come.
In this,
Yes.
For the buffer zone. Remaining a buffer
So
zone.
there was one file after our agitation which was rejected by the panchayat. It was saying as for temporary museum, some chocolate museum.
Chocolate
So
museum.
it was rejected. It was in a buffer zone, 100 meters prohibited zone. So after our pressure, that the agitation, panchayat rejected the thing. So there are we came
there
to
are
know-
positives.
Yes,
There are
yeah.
positives.
Then from our source we came to know there are almost around 15 to 20 approvals are pending with ASI. If this doesn't happen, tomorrow they can get the permission.
They will get the permission.
So
In
due to
fact,
the pressure of the public, the permissions are denied to them. till
they are
now.
denied and they are kept on hold
Kept
now.
on
They are
hold.
under the banner. And credit to Glenn and Tahir and his team and all the protesters who are sitting at that Old Goa site till today.
They're still sitting there?
Yes,
Yeah,
they are
still
sitting
going
there.
on.
Every day they are sitting there. And salute to them. We are only like in solidarity.
Correct.
But basically the thing is that these people, they would have just ravaged that whole area otherwise. And whether Glenn is aware of not, but politically I know there are a lot of politicians who are putting tremendous pressure on the panchayat to release the files. But they are getting scared now. See, this protest has brought something out. So, but we are looking at ground zero of the illegal structure first. That will send a straight signal to all India level.
Fair enough. I would like to end on this positive, quote unquote, positive note of Anthony's, that this is a message now. But actually it's a point well taken, but I would still, like, I am on record. If action is not taken against the guilty in such a blatant thing, as you call it, with all evidences and all, I believe you at your word, and you'll have spoken to, I think, everybody, ministers, everybody. So nobody can say that I don't know what's happening.
Correct.
So a message should be sent. People, I mean, this government always says, no, we are against illegalities, we are this, we are going. So hopefully, such a thing, some action should be taken, and hopefully it is, which sends a message to others. See, because you don't target locals who are building their houses, increasing that panchayat should not target, or TCP should not target. It is these big things which are happening on a daily basis. I think half of Goa is a very nice place, and I'm sure all Indians are our brothers and sisters, but half of India is in Goa, I think, today.
Yeah.
But I'm not for or against anything, I'm just saying.
Before we close down,
Hopefully we will be able to get some sort of a semblance of some order and logic in this, thankfully. Thank you, and keep watching Goa 365.